In this sub-lesson, we're going to create a card visualization. We'll format a card visualization. We're going to create a KPI visualization, and we'll go ahead and format that KPI visualization. So let's go ahead and get our supporting Git file hub open, and go ahead and wait for the Power BI desktop to open. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to create a card visualization. And what we want to do with this card visualization is we want to use it to display a target for our total sales. And we're also going to then use that target for our total sales to help support the KPI card, which we're going to build next. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually just going to create a brand new measure. I'm going to go into new measure on the sales table. And I'm going to go in and call this target sales. And I'm going to hard code its value to 35 million, like so. Okay, so what I've done there is I've just created a measure and hard coded it. I'm actually going to go through and make it currency and set it to English United States. So go ahead and format the measure as well. And what we're going to use this measure for in a few moments here is to display on the card to show us what our yearly target sales can be. And then later on when we build the KPI card, we're going to be able to compare our different years to the target to see are we ahead or behind on that particular target. So let's go ahead. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to build our card visualization. So I'm just going to go into the visualizations here and zoom in. And the card visualization is this one right here. It says 1, 2, 3. If I see the tooltip on there, it says card. So I'll just go ahead and click that, zoom myself back out. We're going to see that we have a blank visual here. Now this time I'm going to leave the visual alone. So I want to go through and do the formatting at first, and then we'll put it where it actually belongs on the canvas. So what we're going to do here is quite simply take our target sales and drop it into the fields bucket here, because we're just going to display $35 million as our target. Okay, so we're just going to go through and do a few formatting things. We're going to click on the format. And we'll go down here and we're going to turn the category label off. So I'm just going to open this up a bit more so we can see these cards easier. We're going to go ahead and turn the category label off. So we'll see the label was turned off underneath the actual amount there. We're going to go to our background card as well. We're going to turn it off. There we go. So now it's transparent. And what we're going to do next is we're going to turn the title card on. So we're actually going to go ahead and give this a title. And what I want to call this is total or target sales. Let's go like this, like so. All right, so now we've got our title there. Let's go ahead and put it in the middle. Make sure that our text size is 14 for that. And we'll go find our data label card. So we'll close the title card up here. Let's go to the data label here. And what I want to do is turn this text size to 30. So instead of 45, I'm going to call this 30 like so. So we have our amount looking like that. All right, so we pretty much have it formatted the way we want. Now let's go ahead and position it into the box. I'm just going to make this visual a little smaller here so it sits something like that. And then we'll drag it into this position right here so we can see what our target sales is. So $35 million. So that is quite simply the card visualization. Nothing really much going on there. Just want to show you have the ability to do it and set ourselves up for the KPI visualization here momentarily. Okay, so let's go ahead and build that KPI visualization up. So once again, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to zoom in on the visualizations pane like so. And the KPI is 2 over from the card. It's the one that has this arrow up and arrow down, or so I should say the triangle up and triangle down. I'll go ahead and click on that. We're going to get a blank visual for a KPI being set up here. I'm once again going to leave this alone until I'm finished formatting it. And what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to start putting some data into this, which is our normal practice when building visualizations, is to bind the data in first and then do our formatting. So let's go ahead and drag in our total sales as the indicator. So that's what we want to put on here as indicator. What we want to do here on our trend axis is we're going to go down to the order date table and find our order date year. Let's go ahead and put that on the trend axis. Okay, I'm seeing a little bit more here now. And then let's go ahead and close these two tables up here. All right, close that one table, I should say. And now let's go ahead and drag our target sales into the target goals. Okay, so we can see now that we have a goal of $35 million and that we are 156% over that in aggregate across our entire data set. Okay, so we're going to go through and do a little bit more formatting on this, but let's go ahead and get this into the actual spot where we want to put this first. So I'm just going to roughly go like this, like so, and let's go ahead and put that like that. Perfect. We have it exactly where we want here now. Alrighty, so what we're going to do here next is go and format the title here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and open our format up here. Actually, we'll notice here that the KPI card does not have the focus here, so I'm just going to go ahead and give it focus so that our format changes here. Okay, so let's go down and take care of our title first, and we're just going to call this total sales target, or total sales versus target sales. Let's just go ahead and do that. All right, go ahead and hit enter, and let's once again go ahead and move that to the center. We're happy with our text size and the font color, so that looks really good. All right, so let's go ahead and close this card up. The next thing that we're going to want to do here is we're going to go into the indicator card. We're going to make the display units millions. So let's go ahead and do that, which was already set up, but we want to force it to be millions. Then let's go in and do some further formatting here by changing our text size to 30. So let's go ahead and drop that down to 30 so that looks a little bit smaller. All right, so that's becoming a little bit more digestible there. Okay, so we can see in here we've got the title, the comparison to our target. We've got a goal here which indicates the goal, which is right next to us over here in target sales. So let's go ahead and actually turn the goal card off. So what I'm going to do here is close the indicator card up, go down to goals, and I'm going to turn the goal off, because I've got the goal right next to it here with this $35 million. So we can leave this piece here so we can see that we are 156% over our goal in aggregate, which is good. And then let's go ahead and turn our background card off like so. All right, then maybe we just need to do a little bit more positioning here. So let's just move that over a smidge so that we can see that gray bar between the two different cards here. All right, looking good. Okay, so now the last thing we want to do here is we can see this is a little bit off balance here. We've got our titles here, and this one comes down a little bit, or our values, I should say. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually just going to move this up a little bit so I can get the target sales amount to line up a little bit better with that right here. Just visually, that I find this looks a little bit more appealing than if we had left it alone. And we can see here now that we've got what is called the trend axis. So this little line that goes down and then back up. So if we wanted to turn that off, we could go over into, with the KPI visualization highlighted, of course, we could go into the formats. We could turn the trend axis off if we want. We notice that disappear. I like to leave that on. I think that looks quite nice. So we leave our trend axis on. And the one we have down below here is inside of goals as well. I actually left the distance on, so I could actually turn that off, and that would remove that percentage as well. So if we wanted to get rid of the percentage on how far over the goal we are, we could. But once again, I'm just going to go ahead and leave that on the visual. All right, so two pretty simple visualizations there, the KPI and the card. So let's just mention the measure here. So the target sales measure, we went and created that as a hard-coded value. In a production environment, I wouldn't do that. I would expect that targets would come in through some source system. Because right now we're just giving a blanket target of $35 million. But most organizations like this would plan from target sales for a given year, or maybe target sales for a given year and product, or maybe target sales by a given year, product, and sales territory. So every organization is a little different in terms of the granularity they're planning. But the salient point here is the fact that we would get that from a source and not actually have it hard-coded and then allow those values to be compared against the KPI. But we want to keep this nice and simple, build a target in here so that we could actually drive this KPI visualization and make sure that we're able to drive the point home between these two visualizations here. All right, so that brings us to the end of this sublesson.